Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you don't miss anything. Nobody starts at the finish line. You have to start somewhere. In order for you to get to where you're going, to meet that destination, you can't think that you're going to get there instantly. Welcome to another episode of the Nothing to Something podcast, where I touch on different topics, on different areas of life. I give my personal views. I'm not a doctor, right? But I do have some insightful information. And what we're touching on today is problems. You choose how you deal with them. So, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by you choose how you deal with them? That can be one of the biggest things that is going to change how the problem is dealt with, right? Just understand how much the problem is taken care of has a lot to do with how you feel towards it. How you go about it is going to be how you feel towards it, how you think about it, your view on the problem itself, right? The problem itself may not change. Two people can deal with the same problem, right? One deal with it one way, one deal with it another way. And obviously, we know that there is more way than one to deal with the problem, right? Just like we know 2 + 2 is 4, but also 3 + 1 is 4, right? So there are more than one way to get to a solution, but that viewpoint of choosing how you deal with it is strictly up to you. Like, I know it's like, yeah, I already know that it's up to me. But what I'm trying to say is, literally, sink or swim. It is a choice, right? At the end of the day. Now, obviously, a person may not know how to do something, which is going to make dealing with the problem a little bit more difficult. Okay? I'm not saying that. You obviously are not going to know how to take care of something if you've never done it before. Exactly as if a person doesn't know how to swim. What are they going to do besides drown, right? What can they do, right? But understand that there was things that you could have put in place for situations that you knew that you might go into. There's things that you could have put in place for just in case something happened in the event of. So preparation. So like having foresight. That is a big key to you choosing on how you deal with the problem. Why? Because we all know that we deal with problems. There's nobody exempt from problems. Now, obviously, you cannot plan and prepare for all problems in life, but foresight will help you plan and prepare for problems that you know that might happen. For example, if you have a vehicle, foresight is going to tell you, I need to put a couple dollars to the side for when or if the car needs some repairs done. It may not be a lot, okay? You may be pinching, right? Obviously, a lot of people are, which is okay. But even if you say, I'm going to put $20 to the side, I'm going to put $10 to the side, you may not need to do nothing for your car for another year. Now, if every time you got a couple dollars and you put 20 and 10 to the side, by the time you need it to get some work done, guess what? You just took a little bit off the edge, off the top, right? You made dealing with it a little bit easier. But that was a choice that you had to make with dealing with the problem. See, choosing to do something in advance for a future problem is still choosing how you deal with the problem. It's a choice. It's up to you. So listen to me. Understand that you have a choice in the matter. Like, we all know that don't nothing just come from nowhere, right? I always say that even within some lies, there may be a small piece of truth in there. So what can you do to offset the difference? Plan ahead. Plan ahead. So like, understand, when you're trying to have a certain viewpoint to problems, these are some of the things that you have to do. You have to have foresight. You have to think about certain things. You have to think about what might happen. Okay? All right. Look, for example, car insurance. You get car insurance for what might happen. But nobody plans to actually get into a car accident if you ain't scheming, right? Some people scheming like, look, no shade to you, but it is what it is. And why do I say that? Think about it. I'm going to give you my example, for example, right? I'm going to give you my life for an example. In 2008, I was in a car accident. Somebody rear-ended me. I had car insurance. 2009, I was in an accident. Another person rear-ended me. Boom. 2010, I was in another car accident. Somebody sideswiped me. 2011, I was in another accident. Somebody rear-ended me. 2012, I was in another accident. Somebody hit me from the side. Listen, this happened from 2008 all the way to like 2016. No lie. I was in a car accident from 2008 all the way to 2016. But listen to what I'm saying to you. Had I not had insurance to planning and thinking ahead, right? And I'm not just saying having insurance. I did what I could so I didn't have the bare minimum, which if you have the bare minimum on your insurance, that's cool. As long as you got something, right? You have something in place. That's part of trying to take care of a problem ahead of time, right? But what I'm trying to say to you is, I knew that if I didn't have insurance and something happened, the problem that I would have to deal with would be worse. Okay? So I'm putting the emphasis on why do we put things in place? Because we know it could happen. Something that people tend to say is, hope for the best, plan for the worst. I'm going to say that again. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Preparation. Like, listen, if you know that things is going to happen, right? You may not know what's going to happen, but you know that something will happen. You try to put a buffer in there. That way you can try to ease the crash or ease the fall a little bit more. You are in preparation. That's you choosing to deal with the problem a certain way. Again, if you want to go from a nothing place to a something place with problems and choosing how you deal with them, These are some of the things. Now, let's just touch on something for a second. Think about what problems mean. Problems mean there is a matter or a situation that is unwelcomed, harmful, or something that needs to be dealt with. I'm going to say that one more time just in case you didn't catch it. A problem is a matter or a situation that we look at as unwelcome, harmful, or need to be dealt with. So understand that we are all going to go through problems. We know that, right? We would not think that we ain't going to go through no problems, right? Even if you don't have no problems in your life and things is smooth for you and is relatively going sweet, that's cool. That's what's up. But understand, you put things in place as a buffer to try to give you a little cushion for if something happens or when something happens. Now, here is a couple of different ways to view problems, right? So just verbiage alone, listen to what I'm saying. Verbiage alone has a lot to do with how we view stuff or how we think about stuff, right? A couple of different words for flipping and changing the word problem, right? Difficulty, right? So instead of saying I'm having a problem, say I have some difficulties. You see how just that verbiage change made it sound different? It's still there, right? But just changing that one word can change how you view it and how you deal with it. You might say it don't seem as hard. It's not as difficult. It's a little bit easier for you to manage. Why? Because you changed the verbiage. See how we view it. Okay. Another one. Instead of saying I have a problem, say I'm dealing with some adversities. See, listen. Putting that word adversities in there, you may start to view it in a way as I can take care of this. This is something manageable. It's not out of my reach of taking care of this. That's what I'm trying to help you to do with changing your viewpoint on it so you can deal with it better, right? You have an obstacle instead of a problem. Think about it. If you just said, oh, I have a couple of obstacles that I'm dealing with, you might you were automatically triggering and saying to yourself, oh, this is just something that I got to get over. Listen, it's something that I got to get over. It's something that came in, boom, I got to get over it. It's just a little hurdle. That's all. It ain't nothing crazy. But what I'm telling you is it does something to your mental space, which does something to your body when you start viewing things differently. So that's what I'm trying to help you to understand. You have to view it differently so you can approach it differently. You heard me? I'm going to say that one more time. You have to view it differently so you can approach it differently. Instead of saying you have problems, say you having some complications, right? So if you are using these different terms, right? That's how you go from a nothing place to a something place, right? With how you view problems, because now you are just removing that word and replacing it with a different word. So now you can view it differently so you can approach it differently. Now, what are some better words, right? Some more better words that you can actually use, right? You can say, I have a setback. If you just got a setback, that just means that, guess what? It's exactly what that is. This is a setback So you're still going to be moving forward. You just had a setback. And guess what? Setbacks can be minor, they can be major. But guess what? You just changed how you are approaching it. Because when you approach it with a certain viewpoint, then you will be able to deal with it in a much more effective way, because you are trying to do what you can. You are doing things differently just because of your viewpoint alone, right? You may have a hindrance, right? Understand, look, we all go through stuff, right? Like, we're going to be straight up. We all go through stuff. You might be talking to some of your friends, right? One of your coworkers, right? Your spouse, a loved one, they might ask you, oh, hey, what's going on? And you like, man, I got this problem, I got that problem. And guess what? They might be like, man, that's crazy. And you might even, you hear how I'm saying it? Oh, man, I got this problem, I got that problem. That alone. But watch this. Oh, man, I just got a couple hindrances. I got this hindrance coming in. I got this setback that's here. It is what it is. But that alone, it creates something positive. Like, you saying it in a more positive notation, which means you can deal with it more positively. You get what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Another one. You got a dilemma. Look, I just got a dilemma. You know what I'm saying? Little situation. I'm in a pickle. I'm in a jam. And guess what? Those things, you say that type of stuff because you are even saying it in a way as if you believe that you're going to get out of it. Right? You believe that you're going to get out of it. It didn't change the circumstances. Nothing changed. But you believe that you are going to get out of it, no matter if it's going to be fast, nor if it's going to take a long time. You still are approaching it in a way that it is going to be taken away. It is going to be dealt with. It is going to be handled. You may not even know how, right? You may not even know why. But listen to what I'm saying. You doing these steps on you mentally approaching it in a different way is going to change how you deal with it within itself. You had a detour. Guess what? Think about when you're driving. Every time you're driving, you might be driving to, say, for example, home, right? And while you're driving home, you go the same route all the time. You leaving work or wherever you leaving from, right? And you know how to get to your crib. But guess what? There's a detour. They doing some construction not far from your house. Are you gonna say, man, I can't get home now? No. You gonna say, all right, I got there's a detour in the road. I gotta find another way. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm talking about mindset shifting. And this is how you do it. You go from a nothing place to a something place with how you choosing to deal with problems, right? This is how you do it. You take these different steps, right? You just had to slow down. See, what I'm trying to help you to understand is using that word problem alone can make you feel down. It can make you feel like you want to stop because it'll trigger something in your brain, right? But using these different words, changing how you view it, will help you change how you deal with it. I'm going to say that again. You got a drawback. Guess what? A drawback, think about when you got a bow and arrow, boom, you got to draw it back, right? The more you draw it back, guess what? When you let it go, it's going to take off. It's going to go further. That's how you can view the things that are coming up in your life. You view them as drawbacks, not problems. They drawbacks. So continuing to view it differently will help you to handle it differently. So understand that these are some of the things that you can do, right? How you view it is all up to you, right? Understand, problems can either do one or two things. One of two things. The one thing it could do, it could defeat you. It can tear you down. It can make you feel inadequate. It can make you feel weak. It can make you feel sad. It can make you feel depressed. It can make you feel like you can't go on. Right? These are some of the things that problems can do to you. Right? But on the other side, what problems can do, it can make you feel challenged. It can make you feel like this is going to better you in some type of way, right? It can strengthen you, right? Understand, the very same things that makes you feel broken are the very same things that can make you stronger or make you better. Understand that it's about what you allow. You have to allow it to strengthen you. You have to allow it to say, this is going to develop me. Because it can do that. It can develop you. Right? You have to choose. Right? So understand, I want you to know, and I say this from my heart, I want you to know that if you choose to change how you view it, change even the verbiage, change how you think about it, it will help develop you, help strengthen you, help you see that you have potential that you may not even never tapped into, right? It may make you better, right? It can make you pursue things that you didn't think you could pursue, think you would pursue. It may take you out of your comfort zone so you can actually do something that you may have never done before. Listen, understand, you are great. Know that you are great. Greatness is within you. And part of your greatness is going from a nothing place to a something place in different areas of your life. Now, I'm about to get into one of my moments, right? I always give my moment, right? And the moment that I'm about to get into is how I actually started dealing with stuff differently. Like, one of the things that happened to me is I went through a divorce, right? I was married for a few years and things didn't go the way that I hoped for them to go, right? And I mean, it got bad. Towards the end of the marriage and separation and divorce, it got really bad, right? And not just between me and that person, for myself, right? I went through depression. I went through my feelings being up and down. I went through a lot of negative thinking, right? I went through having suicidal thoughts, right? But I didn't realize that until after I got on the other side of that, right? that I was able to do things that I never thought I could do. It was things that I thought that I couldn't accomplish. But it was because I actually allowed myself to go through and get on the other side of it that it helped me to change my views towards life, right? It helped me change my views to the things that I was dealing with, right? So it is one of the things that helped me actually transition and realize how great I was. So understand that it was a choice that I made to see what I was capable of. It was a choice that I actually said, this is what I'm going to do because this is not where I want to be in my life. I didn't want to be in a down place. I didn't want to be in a sad place. So I made a choice. Understand, problems can either direct you, defeat you, develop you, right? And I allowed it to direct me to do better mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I chose that it was not going to defeat me mentally, spiritually, physically. It was a choice that I made, right? So the same thing that was there, right? I was separated, divorced, right? I could have went on one side of the spectrum and went down a negative rabbit hole, but I chose to go on the other side of the spectrum and view things more positively and do things more positively. Now listen, everybody deal with things differently, but understand that everybody has a choice. I had a choice. I made that choice. And I'm glad that I made the choice that I made because now I'm here helping you. I'm helping you guys. This is part of my purpose. And so I want you to understand that I know that I'm great. No matter what I'm going through in my life, good, bad, or indifferent, I am great. So I challenge you to know that you're great. Good, bad, indifferent. Realize your greatness and do the things that is going to help you to not only feel great, be great, and help others to see your greatness. So again, I challenge you to go and be great. You're in control of how you feel. You're in control. You are the determining factor of your feelings. No one else can control how you feel. Remember, you're in control of how you feel. So control your feelings. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification button on, and if you liked it, share it with somebody you know.